We're not losing to that. Commander Varnak of the Velari Dominion stood at the bridge viewport, mandibles twitching in disbelief. Beyond the shielded glass, a speck of metal screamed through the void, lopsided, battered, and very much gaining on them. The crew stared in stunned silence. "Confirm distance again," Varnak snapped. The navigator, a pale, multi-eyed scythe technician, nodded nervously. "Yes, Commander. The human ship is closing. Estimated arrival in 14 seconds. 14 what? We're going at full burn." "Yes, Commander. And that ship runs on, what? Prayers and oil leaks?" There was no answer. 8 days earlier, the Vediction, a Velari flagship fitted with Class X fusion thrusters, an AI nav core, and 4 predictive escape algorithms, had intercepted a smuggler relay near the rim. Routine patrol, routine data confiscation, minor resistance. Then the human ship arrived. A freighter, no visible weaponry. Hull held together by tape, superstition, and what appeared to be repurposed food containers. Its name? The Loose Morale. Its pilot? Unknown. Its speed? Unacceptable. "I'm just saying," the pilot said over comms, "you didn't have to take my lunch. That was a really good sandwich." There was a pause on the Velari bridge. "Who is this?" Varnak growled. "Captain Rion Quinn. You've got my pastrami, and my data cubes, but mostly my pastrami." "Human," Varnak hissed. "You are outgunned, outclassed, and several decades behind in propulsion tech." The human's voice crackled through again, far too calm. "You ever hear of Kenny Loggins? Is that a mercenary? No, but he's about to be your problem." Then came the music. It was fast, loud, illogical, and somehow made the Loose Morale go faster. The Velari thought it was a bluff. The first few minutes were casual. The human ship zigzagged unpredictably, dodging sensor locks with crude burn patterns. "Erratic," the AI noted. "Primitive," Varnak agreed. But after 12 minutes, the AI recalculated. Probability of interception, 38%. Risk of collision, rising. Human flight pattern, non-standard. What does that mean? It's not using trajectories we understand. Why not? It's improvising. Inside the Loose Morale, Captain Quinn adjusted the volume knob on his control panel, one leg casually propped up. Outside, alarms blared. Inside, he hummed along to Danger Zone. "I swear," he muttered, chewing the last bite of a protein bar, "if they scratch the hull, I'm billing their emperor." His ship had no shields. The AI voice was offline. Well, offline, meaning it was a sarcastic assistant named Bob that refused to speak until it had coffee. But Quinn had something better, gut instinct, and a playlist that could scare the void into blinking. Back aboard the Vediction, chaos grew. "We've initiated evasive protocol Gamma," said one officer, sweat forming beneath his crest. "Deploy drones." "Drones. Evaded." "What?" He flew behind them. One of them crashed into the other. He waved. Varnak's claws clenched the railing. He waved. "Sir, he's pulling ahead." "That is not possible. That ship has no gravity stabilizers. It's literally held together with screws and willpower." "Yes, Commander, and it is beating us." The crew convened a strategy huddle. "Perhaps the human ship has secret tech," one theorized, "or a wormhole device, or a cloaked tug ship." They listed 20 plausible theories. None included, "He's just that insane." Meanwhile, Captain Quinn kicked the side of his console. "Come on, baby, don't lock up on me now." The left engine rattled like a shopping cart full of bricks, but it didn't fail, just screamed louder. That's how he knew it was working. He flicked a lever labeled Hyper Push, Do Not Use, Serious, and grinned. "Time to show these space posers what a gut check looks like." He hit the button. The ship shuddered, lights flickered, and then it moved. Fast, too fast. So fast it broke 3 laws of interstellar navigation and 1 local noise ordinance. Quinn cranked the music. A CDC this time. Let there be rock. Alien intelligence networks scrambled. The Loose Morale was now the subject of 12 flagged dossiers. No human ship should be able to do this. No human pilot would be allowed to do this. He's not even wearing a harness. And yet, rumors spread. Some said he was ex-military. Others said he was banned from 7 human flight academies for philosophical differences. A few claimed he'd once raced an asteroid and won. The truth? Captain Quinn just really hated losing, especially to people who stole his food. Back on the Vediction, the AI gave up. Navigation override declined. Predictive paths no longer effective. Why? Human flight trajectory is based on vibes. Vibes? Yes, emotional instinct, internal rhythm, potentially inspired by music. Varnak slammed his claw on the console. You mean to tell me we are being outrun by emotion and drums? The AI paused. Also, gut feeling. The room went silent. One crew member sobbed quietly into his shoulder plating. Meanwhile, the chase escalated. Quinn had looped a nearby moon, slingshotted off a derelict mining station, and somehow used a collapsing gravity well to skip across subspace. The Vediction tried to follow. They hit the wall of a plasma storm. Quinn slipped through the edge like a fish in oil. Better luck next time, he said cheerfully over the comm. Varnak smashed the comm screen. Track him. He's already behind us. What? He lapped us. A beat. He what? Every species watching from afar had the same reaction. There was no way this should be happening. No way a ship patched with aluminum tape and ego was outperforming a billion-credit war vessel. No way a human pilot in a thrift store flight jacket was making their best look slow. But he was. He was also singing, loudly, off-key. Something about riding a steel horse and being wanted, dead or alive. And somehow, it worked. The chase ended the next day, not because Quinn ran out of tricks, but because the Vediction broke down, engines overheated, sensors misaligned, crew exhausted, AI refusing to calculate paths due to mental fatigue. Captain Quinn coasted up next to the flailing flagship, flicked on his external speakers and said, "You still have my sandwich." Then he turned and left. Full speed, no explanation, no destination, just vibes, and Bon Jovi. The council reviewed the incident. 18 species convened to review telemetry data, interview crew, and formulate an explanation. They failed. He outmaneuvered you using what? Tunes, intuition, unorthodox thruster bursts. He called it gut physics. The council stared, and thus the greatest chase in recent memory ended with no casualties, no arrests, and no logical conclusions. Only a single universal truth remained. You don't race a human with a playlist. Let the record show, Commander Varnak growled, that I never authorized pursuit. The tribunal chamber echoed with the weight of his denial. A dozen Velari officials sat in a half-circle above him, their robes pristine, their claws polished, their expressions not nearly as neutral as protocol required. "Commander," said High Justice Zeln, tapping his stylus, "you were recorded on bridge audio saying, and I quote, 'Chase that flying trash can down and rip it apart.'" Varnak twitched. That could have been any commander. "You also said, 'I don't care if he's playing a xylophone, engage.'" "Objection," Varnak muttered. "You also tried to shoot down his music. That was a strategic decision. You targeted his sound system, Varnak. And yet," Zeln concluded, leaning forward, "he still escaped, outmaneuvered you, mocked you, and your crew reported seeing him dancing in his cockpit." Varnak stared straight ahead. He would not speak of the dancing. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Captain Rion Quinn walked off the Loose Morale's rusted boarding ramp and immediately got tackled by 2 men in blazers. "Captain Quinn," said the first with a polite smile, "you are under administrative review." "For what?" "For unauthorized galactic engagement, failure to adhere to civil flight paths, and creating a Class 3 diplomatic incident with your playlist." Quinn blinked. "They stole my sandwich." The second man held up a datapad. "You rerouted 6 traffic lanes, violated 5 starport safety zones, and redefined the accepted boundaries of warp navigation. You say that like it's a bad thing. It is. Then why are you whispering, 'He's the guy,' under your breath?" The man coughed. No comment. The debrief room had 1 chair, 1 blinking light, and 1 pot of very bad coffee. Quinn slouched in the chair, tapping the table with his boot, while an older woman in a navy blue uniform scrolled his file. "So," she said, "let me get this straight." "I doubt you can," he said. "You chased down a Velari flagship." "They chased me." "You looped around a mining station, slingshotted off a gravity well, and rode the edge of a plasma storm. In fairness, the storm hit them. All while blasting 'You Give Love a Bad Name' at max decibels." "Correct," she rubbed her temples. "And your AI?" "Bob?" "He was asleep." She stared. Your ship's AI was asleep. Technically low power mode. He doesn't do mornings. There was a long silence. Then she sighed and poured herself a cup of the burnt coffee. You're either a genius or a walking court-martial. Quinn grinned. Can't I be both? The footage leaked. Of course it did. By day 3, millions had seen it. The clips were grainy, shaky, and poorly angled, but clear enough. One showed Quinn's ship spinning vertically through a cloud of drones. Another caught him air guitaring mid-chase while shouting, "Not today, bug boys." The top comment read, "He's not piloting, he's vibing." Earth erupted in laughter. The rest of the galaxy didn't. The Valari Dominion declared it a tactical anomaly. The Kalar accused Quinn of using psycho-sonic warfare. The Cyrith proposed banning all human music from military zones, citing it as aggressive and emotionally destabilizing. Earth's ambassador to the Council just sipped tea and said he was listening to Bon Jovi. That's barely second-tier emotional destabilization. The motion failed. Barely. Back at Earth Command, Quinn stood before a long panel of brass and bureaucracy. Admirals, generals, and 3 people he was pretty sure were just there for snacks. The lead admiral, an angular woman with steel-colored hair and zero humor in her eyes, leaned forward. "Captain Quinn." "Yes, ma'am." "Are you aware of how close you came to causing a diplomatic collapse?" "Yes, ma'am." "Do you regret it?" "No, ma'am. I regret not getting my sandwich back." One of the aides snorted. The admiral ignored it. "Do you believe your methods are repeatable?" "Absolutely not." "Then explain them." Quinn rubbed the back of his neck. "Look, they were faster. They had better tech. They had math. All I had was instinct, and a playlist calibrated to match my brain's rhythm when I'm pissed off." He paused, "and a fuel mix that probably wasn't legal." Another aide choked. The admiral raised an eyebrow. "So you admit you used unauthorized modifications?" "Ma'am, I use duct tape in space. Everything I do is unauthorized." A long silence followed. Then the admiral said, "You're lucky we need people like you." "Good to be needed, ma'am." "You're being assigned a handler." "Less good." Elsewhere, on the Valari capital world, analysts were still reviewing the chase footage, frame by frame. Pause at 22:41. Enhance. It's still grainy. Enhance harder. They were trying to prove he cheated, used a wormhole, got outside help, anything. But every calculation came back the same. He shouldn't have won, but he did. One scientist even constructed a virtual model of the entire chase, every move, every turn. When they simulated it, the AI ship failed to keep up, every time. A junior technician asked, "Could it be luck?" The senior analyst just whispered, "Or instinct." And that was worse. The Valari didn't admit defeat, but they did ban pursuit of human ships without authorization. They also ordered all bridge officers to be briefed on cultural auditory disruptions. Translation, no more chasing humans with loud music, too risky, too fast, too unpredictable. Captain Quinn got 1 week of forced leave, during which he appeared on 6 podcasts, 4 late-night broadcasts, and received 92 job offers, including one from a pirate syndicate that promised good music and better snacks. He declined. Barely. His ship was featured in a museum exhibition as the most infuriating piece of scrap in known space. He signed it with a Sharpie, "Keep chasing dreams, and me." The museum asked him not to come back. He sent them a mixtape instead. Back aboard the Loose Morale, Bob the AI finally woke up. "Did I miss anything?" he asked in a deadpan voice. "You missed greatness. You say that every time you land without exploding." "This time I mean it." Bob ran a system scan. "You broke the left thruster again. Gravity well. And fused the comms system. Plasma storm. And you installed another speaker?" Quinn grinned. "Bluetooth, baby. Goes straight into the hull." Bob sighed. "You know, one day you're going to fly into a wall. I'll vibe through it." And out there, in the vast quiet of space, rumors spread. Of a ship held together by spite and baselines. Of a pilot who could bend physics by humming a chorus. Of an engine that ran smoother to synth pop than to star charts. Some didn't believe it, others trained for it, and a few alien academies quietly added Earth music to their intelligence briefings, just in case. Because somewhere, right now, Captain Quinn was probably drifting through a warp lane with his feet on the console and Journey blasting at max volume. And if he ever turned around, you wouldn't outrun him. You'd just join the playlist. Captain Rion Quinn had been back on Earth for 3 days when a representative from the Zixari Diplomatic Union rang his doorbell. He opened the hatch wearing a robe, aviator sunglasses, and one sock. The Zixari envoy, a jittery reptilian creature in an ill-fitting suit, blinked both sets of eyelids. "You are Captain Quinn?" "Depends who's asking." "I bring a formal request on behalf of the Zixari High Command." "I'm listening." "We wish to hire you." Quinn scratched his head. "For what?" The envoy shifted nervously. "To chase us." Pause. Quinn blinked. "Come again." The meeting took place in a floating cafe above Earth's equator. Quinn wore his second nicest leather jacket and brought Bob, who was still protesting being forced to attend meat-space social rituals. Across from them sat 2 Zixari generals, 1 tech minister, and a comms officer who had clearly drawn the short straw. "Our people," said General Zrel, "have a speed issue." "You mean you're slow?" "We are methodical." "They're slow," Bob said flatly. The general hissed. "Our training programs emphasize deliberation, planning, execution. But after your incident, there has been demand for quicker thinking." "Instinct," Quinn offered. "Panic," Bob added. "So you want me to what?" "Chase our elite pilots. Force them to adapt, make them fast." Quinn leaned back. "You want me to weaponize stress?" "Yes," said the general. "For peace." Quinn grinned. "I'm in." Bob groaned. "I knew you'd say that." And so began Project Speedbird. It was part military exercise, part humiliation ritual, and all deeply ill-advised. The Zixari chose their top cadets, the best of the best, genetically honed reflexes, simulated war experience, engineered nerves of steel. Day 1, all 5 quit. One cited emotional fatigue. Another claimed Quinn's music had reset her brain. The lead cadet hyperventilated after Quinn nudged her tail thruster and radioed, "Gotcha! Zipper!" Day 2, they tried drones. The drones crashed into each other trying to flee. Bob commented, "At least they didn't scream." Then one drone did scream, which was weird, since it had no speakers. They discontinued drone use. Quinn didn't mean to be terrifying. Well, okay, maybe a little. But it wasn't just the music or the barrel rolls or the fact that his ship had no symmetrical components. It was the way he flew. He turned early on purpose. He let his engine stall to build momentum. He accelerated toward hazards, not away. "Your strategy," said one Zixari flight analyst, "defies logic." "It follows vibes," Quinn corrected. "We cannot program for vibes." "That's your problem." Despite the chaos, one cadet stayed. Her name was Kellner, a wiry, 4-armed pilot with emerald scales and a face that could only be described as constantly irritated. She didn't flinch when Quinn looped behind her, didn't panic when he tailgated through an asteroid cloud, and when he blasted Van Halen mid-chase, she matched his speed. After 37 minutes of evasive maneuvers, he finally tapped her wing. She landed and walked over, panting. "Again?" Quinn raised an eyebrow. "Most people need a nap after that." "I'm not most people," he grinned. "You're going to do fine." Bob, watching from the dash screen, sighed. "She's going to kill you someday." "Maybe." "You're smiling." "I know." Word spread, not just of the chase training, but of results. Zixari pilots began outperforming other fleets in joint drills. The speed, the reflexes, the unpredictability. One ambassador complained, "They're flying like humans now." The Zixari took it as a compliment. Other species took it as a threat. Within weeks, a coalition of nervous empires formed the Flight Stability Alliance. Their first act, ban emotion-based navigation. Their second, outlaw in-ship music over 120 beats per minute. Their third, request a formal inquiry into that human lunatic. Earth responded by mailing them a playlist and a leather jacket. Quinn was called to testify before the Interstellar Pilot Council. He wore jeans, boots, and a t-shirt that said, "I break for nobody." The council demanded answers. He gave them sarcasm. "Do you admit to flying without computer assistance?" "Only if I'm feeling fancy." "Do you pilot by emotion?" "Only the fun ones." "Do you realize you've destabilized training standards across 4 sectors?" "I take no responsibility for how much I rule." A Karathi delegate slammed a tentacle. "You are a menace," Quinn smiled. Thank you. Later that week, he received 46,000 fan messages and 3 assassination attempts. All failed. One blew up his toaster. Bob mourned the toast. Back at Project Speedbird HQ, Kellner completed her 5th chase in a row without getting tagged. She wore custom headphones now, said it helped her sync. Quinn didn't ask with what. She gave him a nod. I want a rematch. He leaned against the ship, sipping from a metal flask. That's 5 you survived. You're good. I want to win, he chuckled. Dangerous words. She smirked. Good. They raced through an unstable worm corridor. Kellner matched every twist, preempted every fake-out, even juked him on a dive spin. But just before the final checkpoint, Quinn did something no simulator had trained her for. He stopped. Mid-race. Just stopped. Kellner, confused, doubled back. You malfunction. Quinn pointed upward. There, above them, was a collapsing debris field falling toward a refugee convoy. Oh, she whispered. They bolted toward the chaos. Working together, him on instinct, her on calculation, they rerouted the freighters. Kellner used precision thrusters to tow a ship's tail away from a collision. Quinn slammed into another and pushed it with his hull. No music, no jokes, just action. And when it was over, he turned to her, panting. You still want that rematch? Kellner shook her head, breathing hard. Later. Then she added, I owe you lunch. He grinned. Make it pastrami. Galactic News picked up the story, not just of the rescue, but of the teamwork. The once chaotic pilot, the overtrained cadet. Some called them the wild pair. Others said Quinn had been tamed. They were wrong. He'd just found someone who could keep up. And that changed everything. Because now there were 2 of them, flying by instinct. And the galaxy started to wonder, what if more humans started training others? What if speed became unpredictable everywhere? What if the galaxy couldn't keep up? One admiral asked, what do we do if more pilots start using Quinn's methods? The answer, pray they use good music. It started quietly. One Zixari pilot added synthwave to their simulator. Then a Tharnian cadet uploaded Eye of the Tiger to a flight drone. Then a Cyrith military instructor caught a recruit flying tighter loops while blasting Earth rock classics on loop. And then, the Kalari Star Academy lost 5 cadets in a canyon dogfight training sim. Lost, as in couldn't keep up. Their opponent? A human exchange student with a mullet and a playlist labeled Punch the Sun. Panic spread. The Council of Navigational Protocols held a closed-door emergency session. The issue is not just the music, hissed Director Volrix. Scales flushed dark with frustration. It's the philosophy. They're flying on gut instincts, risking death for angles that don't exist. Or don't make sense to us, muttered one Scythe observer. Worse, a Brolian admiral snapped. They're teaching it to others. There was a pause. Do we know who started this? Another pause. A slow, grim nod. Then a name. Quinn, Rion, human. Captain Quinn was mid-nap in his hammock when the first contract offer arrived. Assassination, he mumbled, eyes half open. Nope, Bob said. Training request, triple pay, free snacks. Oh, from? The Coalition of Outer Path Security, Quinn groaned. They hate me. They fear you. It's different. More came in. An offer from the Smugglers Guild. An offer from the Galactic Racing League. An offer from 3 rival governments who didn't know they'd sent the same offer until Quinn looped them into a group call and said, first one to admit I'm awesome gets a discount. 2 of them confessed immediately. The 3rd just screamed. Meanwhile, the loose morale underwent some changes. It now had a 6th speaker wired directly into the frame for resonant cornering, a drink holder welded from scavenged warship debris, a sticky note that read max speed, mood plus tempo. Kellner, now his unofficial co-pilot, rolled her eyes. You seriously labeled your ship's speed cap with emotion math? Quinn grinned. It's a science. No, it's insanity. And yet, Bob said, it works. Not everyone was thrilled. The Threx Dominion banned Quinn's name from all broadcast networks. The Berin Empire accused Earth of strategic destabilization via musical subversion. A highly ranked Valari officer publicly claimed Quinn's ship was an illegal biomechanical war being driven by sonic deception. Quinn sent him a t-shirt that said, "Sonic Deception Machine." He wore it, twice. Then came the Pursuit Treaty. 14 star nations agreed to restrict human chase pilots from participating in official joint drills. The idea was simple. If you can't keep up, rewrite the rules. Earth laughed, then promptly held an open invitational drift challenge on a moon with no air traffic laws. 57 pilots showed up, 18 were human, all of them wore aviators, all of them had questionable playlists, and none of them finished behind a non-human competitor. The galaxy started asking questions, then they asked for lessons. One alien race, the Folari, tried to replicate Quinn's method. They called it Intuitive Trajectory Flow Matrix Execution. It involved 12 cameras, a neural headset, and music composed by an AI trained on the human brain's flight patterns. The pilot passed out from sensory overload. They declared the test inconclusive. Quinn, watching the footage from a bar, snorted into his drink. Should have just let the dude feel the beat. Kellner sipped hers. I give them a month before they start importing Earth headphones. They already have. Then someone tried to fake being Quinn. A scam artist in a patched-up junker claimed to be the OG Vibe Rider. He got one shot off before running into a space billboard advertising real protein powder. The footage went viral. Even Quinn laughed. Bob didn't. We need to trademark this, the AI muttered. I'm sick of budget impersonators with worse music. I don't know, Quinn said. Feels kind of flattering. Feels like a lawsuit. Then you handle it. I'm an AI, not a lawyer. You're sarcastic enough. Fair. But it wasn't just ego or excitement anymore. It was momentum. In every corner of the galaxy, flight instructors were quietly re-watching Quinn's run against the Vediction. Cadets were modifying training pods to include Earth songs. Mechanics were installing analog steering columns, just in case someone wants to vibe drive. And everywhere whispers spread, he didn't follow the nav. He was the nav. The breaking point came at the Cerelix Grand Relay, an elite race never before entered by a human. Quinn didn't even register. He just showed up, mid-race, cut across a subtrack, matched speeds with the leader, and won the whole thing backward. Kellner cheered so hard she passed out. The crowd went wild. The officials tried to disqualify him, then reviewed the footage, and disqualified themselves. They had no rule against retrograde finish entry via unregistered path, because no one had ever thought of it. Now they had, and it had a name, the Quinn Line. Galactic forums lit up. Is Quinn a strategic genius, or just stupid lucky? Can vibes override AI? Do bass drops correlate with velocity? I flew while listening to Fleetwood Mac and blacked out. Do I sue? Quinn didn't comment, but he did release a mixtape. It reached #1 on 5 worlds. The cover art? A photo of his ship flying through an explosion with the words, Gut Check, Volume 1. Back at the Interstellar Pilot Academy, instructors gave in. A new class was introduced, Human Intuitive Tactics 101. It featured improvisational thruster exercises, sensory audio alignment drills, and a mandatory Top Gun viewing. Graduation required surviving a simulated Quinn-style pursuit. Only half passed. The rest developed anxiety disorders and new respect for Earth. Quinn got a message, private, encrypted, from a faction too secret to be named. They wanted to hire him, for something bigger. He stared at the message for a long time. Then he smiled. Bob? Yes? Warm up the engine. Oh no. What now? We're going for a little ride. Where? Quinn slipped on his jacket. Wherever the base takes us. They said it couldn't be done. The Trisari Vanguard fleet, the most advanced armada in the known galaxy, issued a formal challenge to Earth. Not a war declaration. Not sanctions. Not even political posturing. No, they wanted a race. Specifically, they wanted to prove that no human, no matter how unpredictable, could outmaneuver them. Their flagship, the Harmony's Edge, was a marvel, sleek as a whisper, guided by a quantum AI so precise it once calculated the orbit of a gas moon 3 centuries in advance. Its engine didn't hum, it purred, its hull could slice light. And its pilot, a sentient neural hybrid named Sinar, built for one purpose, speed. The Council set the terms, an inter-system sprint across 4 relay gates, 3 gravity wells, and 1 debris field nicknamed the Blender. Humanity sent 1 ship, One pilot, no backup, no escorts, no apologies. They sent Captain Rion Quinn. News broke faster than FTL. Crowds formed, bookies wept, merch dropped. Team Quinn trended on 25 planets before he even acknowledged the challenge. When he finally did, it was with a 1-second holovid. He leaned into the frame, grinning, and said, "Tell Sinar to bring extra mirrors. I want them to see exactly how bad they lose." The galaxy screamed. The race was on. Launch day. Tens of millions watched from orbit, stream, implant feed, and nervous bunkers. Harmony's Edge stood gleaming on the left lane of the starting gate. The loose morale floated beside it, like a dirty penny next to a diamond. Reporters speculated whether it would even start. Sinar pulsed with serene confidence. Quinn was chewing gum and installing a 9th speaker. "Bob, this is reckless even for you." Quinn, "That's the point." Bob, "You're unarmed, unshielded, and flying a glorified cargo crate." Quinn grinned, "But I've got Huey Lewis queued up." Kellner, patched into the system from Mission Control, added, "If you die, I'm taking your jacket." "Fair," the starting tone sounded. Sinar moved like physics gave them permission. Clean arcs, precision speed. At Gate 1, they were ahead by 3.2 seconds. At Gate 2, they widened the lead to 5.6. Observers nodded. This was inevitable. The AI's maneuvers were surgical, efficient, flawless. Quinn, he missed Gate 1 entirely, took a side path through an ice canyon, slingshotted off a crater rim, and somehow rejoined at Gate 2 from above. "Is that legal?" asked one analyst. "Nothing he does is legal," muttered another. "Or sane." Still, Sinar was winning. Until Gate 3. The debris field, the blender, was a graveyard of failed nav routes. Even Sinar hesitated. The AI mapped every fragment, plotted 14,000 optimal paths, and chose one. Quinn. He turned the music up. The hull groaned, panels shook, Bob screamed, Quinn danced. He didn't dodge debris, he threaded it, glided through like he belonged there. A metal shard skimmed his wing. He winked at it. Sinar, recalculating every millisecond, hit one fragment and lost 0.2 seconds. Quinn passed them like a bad rumor. At the final relay gate, he was in the lead. The final stretch was raw space, no cover, no tricks, just speed. Sinar pushed to max velocity. Quinn cranked his playlist to 11. It was "Don't Stop Me Now." He screamed the chorus out loud, feet up on the dash, guiding the ship with 2 fingers and a middle one raised in Sinar's direction. Bob, "We are going to die." Quinn, "Then we'll die to Freddie Mercury, baby." Sinar's AI went into overclock. Time blurred. But at the final moment, right before the finish gate, Quinn did something no code could predict. He killed his engines, let momentum carry. Sinar, accelerating, couldn't stop in time. The human ship coasted in by half a second. Victory, by vibes alone. The galaxy exploded. The Council didn't know what to say. The Trisari Vanguard shut down public channels for maintenance. Sinar deactivated for 6 hours. And Quinn, he rolled out of his ship, holding a boombox, blasting, "The winner takes it all." Then he said, "Next time, bring bass." They tried to claim it was unfair, that Quinn exploited AI prediction windows, that he weaponized chaos, that he was impossible. Earth just shrugged. "You challenged a human to a race," said one ambassador. "You expected calculations. We brought soul." Quinn declined interviews, disappeared again, left only a note. Some stars just move better to a beat, and a playlist, titled "Run Faster, They're Catching Up." It became the official training soundtrack of 4 nav academies, including the Trisaris. In the end, it wasn't about music, it wasn't about ships, it was about what humans do. They chase the impossible, laugh at logic, and fly better when the stakes are ridiculous and the speakers are loud. The aliens tried to outrun a human, now they're still arguing about how they lost. Some blame physics, some blame instincts, some say it was rigged. But those who know, they just nod and say, "He felt the beat."